Hello everyone, welcome to another episode of The Locker Room here on SBTV. Joining me today is Ben Zitouni and Bernard Franklin. Guys, we're finally into March. How's your week been so far?
God, man, it's been Tuesday and it's shaping up to be one long week, I'll just say that.
Bernard?
Been watching a lot of basketball so far, so my week's still been really good.
Definitely in the season 4, we're in March, and definitely some March Madness coming up here soon.
Yeah.
On today's show, we'll recap Pointers men's basketball and hockey, talk about college and NBA basketball, take a look at the NFL scouting combine, and play a round of the classic buy or sell. Starting off the show, the Pointers men's basketball team began NCAA tournament play last week in Collegeville, Minnesota. On Friday night, they defeated North Central College 72-55 in the first round of the tournament. Drew Frederickson led the way for the Pointers with 15 points, and Brett Tauber added 14 of his own to the winning effort. On Saturday, the Pointers dominated Bethany Lutheran College 82-44 in the second round of the tournament. Cannon O'Hare had an unbelievable game, scoring 30 points and going 13 for 19 on field goals. The Pointers will play Whitman College this Friday in Platteville for the Sweet 16. Guys, what do you think about this team's postseason performance, and how far do you think they can go?
Man, I tell you what. Both games. I watched Friday's game. Saturday I was at the hockey game, which we'll talk about later, so I wasn't able to watch the game on Saturday, but I kept up with it. Cannon O'Hare, he had 26 points before the team they played on Saturday had 26 of their own combined points.
Yeah, exactly.
Man, 82-44, good old-fashioned butt whooping. I saw the final score on Twitter when they put that out, and I was like, I had to blink a couple times. I had no idea what was going on. I thought it was a typo, but beating a team by like almost 40 points, man, I think they can go. I don't really know what to say about this team. I mean, the conference tournament, people thought that was going to be hard. They overcame that. They won their first 2 games back-to-back, playing in back-to-back nights. It's a hard thing to do, especially in this stretch of the season. But I think they can go to the Final Four. I think they can be a Final Four team this year.
I agree, Bernard.
They can definitely be a Final Four this team this year. From the first game, that you realized something that we didn't say, MJ Delmore.
Yeah, I
realized he did not say that.
Yeah.
Nate
You realize
Dodge,
that,
Joe
right?
Frederickson, Mark Nelson,
Brett Tauber.
Delmore.
Mm-hmm.
And then the thing is, I talked to Cannon O'Hare. That game on Friday, he only had 10 points.
Yeah.
Which is something that
Right.
So
far
if
this
someone
season,
has a down game, someone else can pick them
Yeah.
up, which is great this time of year.
this is very great. I mean, because lately it seems like we've been relying on Cannon down low.
Mm-hmm.
And now it's just like, hey, other guys are definitely stepping up, doing what they got to do. And this team can be very dangerous now.
I agree, and they're playing some really great basketball now as they get more down into the stretch of the tournament. And this team can go as far as they want to go. That they have the talent, and they've proved that all season. And I think they definitely have something to show after what happened with this team last year, not being able to play during this time of the year. So it'll be interesting. I think they can go down all the way, too, hopefully to the Final Four even. So we'll see how that goes.
Bernard, Final Four, yes or no?
Yeah.
All right,
Championship.
3 yeses. It's
Championship.
gonna happen.
Let's do it. Let's go Pointers. Well, moving to the ice now, the Pointers men's hockey team hosted UW-Eau Claire this weekend in the Whaat Commissioner's Cup championship game on Saturday night. The Blue Golds took a 1-0 lead after the first period and held it until Carter Rue tied it up off a pass from Kelly O'Brien with 1:13 left in the second period. Eau Claire would take back the lead in the third period, answering with 2 goals of their own to make it a 3-1 advantage. Luke McElhaney scored for Stevens Point later in the period to cut the deficit to 1, but the Pointers could not finish the comeback, losing 3-2 to the Blue Golds. Though the Pointers did not win the WIAC tournament, they received a bid to the national tournament yesterday morning and will travel to Adrian to face the Bulldogs in the NCAA quarterfinal on March 17th. Guys, how did the Pointers bounce back from that terrible last game that they played and prepare themselves for Adrian in a couple weeks from now?
Well, I guess you guys know me, and you always know that I keep it brutally honest, which I'll do with this. This is my 4th year having been at this school. That was probably the worst that I've ever seen them play. Honestly, that was the worst I've ever seen them play. They started off slow. The first period, they just started off slow. I was watching the game. I was like, okay, slow first period. They'll bounce back in the second. Didn't really bounce back in the second. They turned it on in the third, but it was too late in the game. Just a poor performance.
Overall, definitely.
So I didn't see the game from what Ben told me and other people that were in the game. Yeah, they played very uninspired, really, for that. And then
They're playing. It looked like they were skating through mud the whole game. They were moving slow. They weren't letting anything get set up offensively.
and then looking ahead for the game against Adrian, I want to say me and Ben been to the games against Adrian. If Matt Smolis, if he's not healthy, they have a good backup. It was Bridges that I believe was the last.
Rickman, the freshman.
Yeah, he did pretty well, but this is also a different Adrian team. They've been on a roll as well, and it is really going to come down to the goaltending, and then have these senior players. You know, they definitely want to lift another trophy up at the end of the season. They had to step up and beat Adrian a third time this season.
I agree, and this is definitely not the same Pointers team that we saw earlier in the year sweep Adrian twice during the regular season. So looking at it now, it's definitely going to be pretty shaky, and they have to go in there with not any frustration from that game against Eau Claire, because they definitely showed it there on Saturday against the Blue Golds, and it definitely portrayed in how the way they played. So it'll be interesting to see how this team bounces back.
Yeah, and I think the important thing, Bernard touched on it a little bit, but Max didn't play in the second game against River Falls in the conference tournament because of injury. He was able to play Saturday against Eau Claire. At the end of the game, he needed a little help getting off the ice, and I'd say the number one important key for the Pointers, if they want to beat Adrian, is his health. You talk about it, they have this weekend off, they don't play till next weekend, so Max has just got to rest up, get 100% healthy, or as close to 100% as he can. And I think I'd be very surprised if the Pointers have back-to-back games with poor offensive output. I don't see that happening.
And they also need to rely on their forwards, Tanner Carty and Will Noah Lambert, to contribute too if they want to beat Adrian as well.
Well, it's not just those two, it's all of their forwards, really. Their defensemen, they've been letting the rebound shots go in. This season, they need to step up more. This is postseason. You can't let what happened Saturday happen again.
Exactly, with the amount of experience this team has.
I'd be shocked if they have another poor performance on next Saturday against Adrian. I don't see it happening.
Well, we'll have to just find out, and hopefully this team will come out looking strong and hopefully have a chance to win there and move on to the Frozen Four, which will be in Lake Placid again this year, which is a place the Pointers are very familiar with, where they won a national championship a couple years ago. So after a commercial break, we'll be back to talk some college and NBA basketball.
How can you get involved with student media at UWSP? Connecting with your campus television station, SBTV, is easy. Like us on Facebook, subscribe to our YouTube channel, follow us on Vine, follow us on Twitter, follow us on Pinterest, follow us on Instagram, or connect with us on Google+. But of course, the best way for you to get involved and stay up to date with all that is happening at our station is to stop by our studio. We're located in the Communication Arts Center at UWSP, Studio B, Room 121. You can also drop by our office, Room 130, for more information on station happenings. We can't wait to get you involved. Come join us at SPTV. Let's make media together.
Hey you! Are you creative? Do you like television? Would you like to make a show that appears on air? Then SBTV is the place for you. At SBTV, you can appear on air, learn how to shoot and edit video, write and produce your own show, and most importantly, gain skills and experiences that will last a lifetime. Want to join us at SBTV? Come check us out in the Communication Arts Center, rooms 121 and 130. We'd love to meet you. SBTV. Let's make media together.
Welcome back to the show. The Badgers basketball team played in the Big Ten tournament last week as the number 9 seed in the conference. In their first game, they defeated the 8th seeded Maryland Terrapins 59-54. Leading the way for the Badgers was Ethan Happ with 14 points, Brad Davison with 13 points, and Khalil Iverson with 11. The Badgers moved on to face top-seeded Michigan State in a rematch of the regular season finale the week before. While Wisconsin put up another good fight, the Badgers fell short 63-60 to the Spartans. Ethan Happ did everything he could to lead the team, finishing the game with 22 points and going 10 for 15 on field goals. The Badgers will miss the NCAA tournament for the first time since 1998, when Dick Bennett was head coach. Guys, what do you think about this Badgers team against Michigan State, and how do you feel about the program going into next year?
Well, I was watching the game Friday in the office here during my lunch break, and I saw the last possession. It was just a really poor last possession. I think we've kind of known all season that they probably weren't going to make the tournament, but I guess season's over. You just gotta take a week off because of NCAA rules, and then, I mean, obviously the coaches are going to look over film and do exit interviews with players, but use this season as a learning experience, build off it, and get better for next season, and we'll start another streak next season of going to the NCAA tournament.
Bernard, your thoughts?
The game against Michigan State is a lot closer than I thought it would be. They definitely put up a good fight for it when it came down to the last possession. And then looking forward for next season, as Ben said, take this as your learning experience. Basically, the only senior they had is Ethan Happ this year. Or
He's
like
junior.
Yeah,
He's junior. So
yeah,
he
he's a
can
junior.
leave. He can leave.
Yeah, he can leave if he wanted to. Redshirt junior, am I correct?
Yeah.
Right? Yeah,
Correct.
so he's one of the senior players. As we talked about last week, I think this game that they put up against in their tournament has definitely shown that maybe he could come back next year. That's one of the key things. Other than that, really, at his position, I don't really see that much depth at them, and they had to bring in the recruits to
Yeah, they definitely need another
Mhm.
big man for
Yeah,
next
right.
season.
So I really take this week off, as Ben said. Look forward to the next tournament they're going to look at, even if it's not the NIT. There's other postseason tournaments. that they
CBI
can-
is a possibility for them.
Yeah, so I think really just look ahead for next season.
I agree with both of what you guys said. I think the Badgers should be allotted one rebuilding year to kind of just take a step back and look at what the pieces they have now and what they can bring in for next year that can help them get back to the tournament and hopefully make another run at the national championship, because injuries were a part of it, but at the same time the lack of available talent that was available to them. Of course, you got to give credit to Ethan Happ. Definitely was the number one man for this Badgers team all season. But you had Brad Davis in there and other guys kind of stepping up a little bit
That was
too.
nice to see.
Yeah, and there is some bright future, I think, for this Badgers basketball program. There's definitely some disappointment to felt this year about it, but at the same time, I think there's also some hopefulness going into next year as well.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, looking at the rest of college basketball and the rankings in general, Virginia currently has the number one ranking in the country with a 28-2 record, followed by Villanova, Xavier, Michigan State, and Duke rounding out the top five. With Selection Sunday coming up, which of these teams do you like in the top 25 that could make a serious run going into the national tournament in March?
Well, I obviously know Bernard's answer, but I like Virginia. I think that Tony Bennett has them playing well this year, offensively and defensively, and they weren't mentioned, but they're obviously a top 25 team that you can never count out. West Virginia and Bob Huggins with this press, you always see how well defensively they usually play, although they have a few slip-ups here or there, which is as expected. No team's perfect, but I think Virginia would be my answer. I really think they can make a deep run.
Bernard, your answer?
Ben knows it's going to be Villanova, but really the thing I'm interested in is to see how the bracket lines up, but where Villanova will be. There's no doubt about it, they're going to be a number one seed.
Yeah,
But
what
will they
region
be?
they're in.
Yeah, what region will they be in? Will they eventually have to play Virginia or not to get to the national championship? 'Cause
That'd be a great matchup.
I would rather see Virginia versus Villanova in a national championship. I don't know about you guys.
Yeah.
I'm actually going to go with the number 3 team on this list, Xavier. Last year, they were the number 11 seed, I believe, in the tournament, and they went all the way up to the Elite Eight. Actually had a nice Cinderella run there. They had a feel-good story, and then, of course, you look at the year before, they lost a pretty tough game against the Badgers in that last-second three by Bronson Canning. But last year, they definitely showed that they could be a team that could make a serious run in the tournament, and I do believe this year they have a lot of the pieces that they had from prior years to get them to this spot, because I think the team definitely showed in years past that they can make a run. And even though Villanova and Virginia are up there at the number 1 and 2 spots right now, look for them to possibly make some noise going into March.
I'm excited for that Big East tournament.
Yeah, I get Selection Sundays this week, and obviously I'm assuming you guys are going to do the same as me, but grab a bunch of brackets and fill them out.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
And then one thing I always like to do is just take a bracket, leave it blank, and fill it in as the tournament goes. And after the tournament's all over, look back at the games, be like, this team lost here, or this team made it to the Elite Eight, and look back at all the matchups. And one shining moment's always a fun thing to watch after the championship.
Exactly, right. And it's also interesting to see how many of your brackets will bust too early on as well.
Yeah. There's always one or two of those for me.
That's why it's called March Madness. So, shifting to the professionals now, the Bucks currently find themselves 7th in the Eastern Conference standings. In a season of ups and downs for the team, they have dropped their last 4 out of 5 games, with their lone victory coming against the Sixers. Guys, what does this team need to do to get back up in the standings?
This is going to sound obvious, but they got to win. Obviously, they beat the 76ers Sunday night. And then they had the Pacers last night in a back-to-back, and they fell flat. They almost tied it up at the end. Obviously, I don't think Giannis should be taking the last shot of a game. He's not that great of a three-point shooter. But they need to find some type of consistency. They had that big win over the Raptors, in Toronto about a week and a half ago, and after that they're hot and cold. And if they still stay in contention and make it into the playoffs, if they're playing the way they are now, they're not making it out of the first round.
I gotta say, play defense a lot better. They definitely locked down the Sixers, and that's how they got their win. They were down 20 points at one point. If they definitely just play their defense a lot better, they can really. They have the offense of awareness. They can score their points really from anywhere besides Giannis taking threes, but really it's just play lockdown defense like we see very inconsistently throughout this season.
I agree with definitely what both of you two said, and you got to look at the rest of the lineup and how they contribute. You need guys like Eric Bledsoe to be out there consistently giving all of his effort out there. You need Brogdon out there too, working on the floor, and Middleton as well. But you also need some of the bench guys to step up too when they come into the game. And it's definitely not going to look any easier for this Bucks team going down the stretch. And once the playoff time rolls around, there's going to be a whole sense of every game is a win or go home situation, even if it isn't a elimination game. So it's going to be very important for this Bucks team to go out and win every game they can, and defense is part of it. But at the same time, you got to give Giannis all the help that he can get.
Yeah, exactly. And by no means the Bucks season isn't over, obviously, because they're still playing games. Yeah. But they got to turn it around soon, or else come playoff time, it's going to be another one and done.
Yeah, they have to win as many games as they can, as has been said. And the reason why I really, really stress this is because you think about it, between 4 and I believe 8 seed, there's literally almost every team's just within a half game of each other. They can easily slide up and down in their standings.
Mm-hmm. And depending on how the rest of the teams above them do going into the rest of the way, you got like the Pacers up there. You also have the Wizards too that are a couple spots ahead of them. So you got to keep an eye on those teams, and when you do play them, be sure that you're in contention when you do play them. So looking at the Western Conference, winning the West seems to be no problem, as the Houston Rockets currently have a 15-game winning streak going into tonight's game against the Oklahoma City Thunder. Is Houston the team to beat in the NBA right now, guys?
I'll keep it short and sweet since we're a little pressed for time, but yeah, they are. I think they'll beat the Warriors, and if the Cavs somehow make it to the finals, they'll destroy the Cavs based on how the Cavs are playing right now.
I agree.
I agree too. That makes it 3 agrees, and we'll see how that goes for the rest of the way for him. And tying them into the Milwaukee Bucks right now, do the Bucks have a chance to beat them on Wednesday?
No. Not with the way they're playing. Not with the way the Rockets are playing. There's not a chance that the Bucks can win based on the way that they are playing right now.
Yeah, the Rockets are right now playing at a high level 1 through 5. Meanwhile, the Bucks are playing at high level.
Struggling with just putting a consistent 5 people on the court to start the game. They can't seem to stay healthy.
The only thing with the Bucks we know is consistent is at number 3. That's it.
Exactly. Milwaukee has played spoiler in the past, but it looks like this year it's a whole different story for them. They may have a 17-game winning streak depending on how they play against the Thunder. So after our next commercial break, we'll be back to talk some NFL and the Scouting Combine.
Warzala, the 7th largest book printer in North America, is hiring students for the semester. We are 100% employee owned and located right here in Stevens Point, Wisconsin. All shifts currently hiring, with jobs starting at $10.80 an hour. Hours are flexible. For more information, contact the Warzala HR department.
Welcome back to the show. The NFL Combine took place in Indianapolis this past week, and teams got a good look at some of the prospects for this upcoming season. Notable performances from well-known players at their position include Dante Jackson and Denzel Ward showing off their speed with a 4.32 40-yard dash, Saquon Barkley with 29 bench press reps, Mike Gesicki with the 41.5 vertical inch jump, and Bo Scarborough with the 129-inch broad jump. With teams now looking ahead to the NFL draft in April, were there any prospects that showed some potential or really stand out to you guys?
You mentioned one of them, Denzel Ward. I love that he showed off his speed. I'm sure the Packers would love to have him follow him at 14, but I think the Badgers that went to the Combine had an impressive showing overall. What was it, Leon Jacobs with about somewhere around 25 reps on the bench press.
Yep.
Natrell Jamerson showed off his speed too. Nick Nelson had a good combine too. So the Badgers as a whole, I'm always impressed with when they stand out at the combine.
Ben went to a school. I'm going to talk about another school. Good old Pennsylvania State University. It seems like everybody out there that they put into this combine, they definitely went above and beyond. The NFL that actually does Olympic-style medals for each one. And guess who had 13? Penn State. The next closest team was 6. So that's definitely showing that James Franklin over there in College Station is definitely making his program.
Obviously,
build.
Saquon Barkley with the best out of that Penn State group.
Yeah, of course.
Exactly, yeah. And one of the better looking running backs out there, too, at the Combine. I'm also going to mention as well Saquon Griffin out there. If you saw how he performed, I believe he had a 4.38 40-yard dash. He also had, I believe it was 30 bench press, 20 bench press reps, and very impressive broad jump as well. So there was a lot of attention that was being put on Saquon Griffin as well, and I think there could be a lot of heads that were turned at the performance that he put out there.
Some draft boards, that's for sure.
Definitely going to change up some draft boards too. So it's going to be interesting to see how teams will now go into the draft in April with the mindset of who's going to be the right fit for him after all the talent that they saw.
And apparently he might be playing with his twin brother again up in Seattle.
That would be pretty interesting for Seattle.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, looking at the NFL real quick, several teams this offseason are placing the franchise tag on star players. Dolphins wide receiver Jarvis Landry, Cowboys defensive end DeMarcus Lawrence, and Steelers running back Le'Veon Bell are set to receive higher paydays. Guys, how careful should teams be in choosing to place a franchise tag on players?
What we've seen over the past 24 hours is obviously some players are going to be upset about it. The Dolphins are probably going to trade Landry. Le'Veon Bell obviously isn't happy, but I guess it's a win-lose game. The teams are going to be happy that it's basically a one-year prove-me-wrong type of deal, and the players are going to be upset because they feel like they're getting disrespected with the money. I have no problem with Le'Veon Bell getting the franchise tag. He can't seem to stay healthy or stay out of trouble, and obviously he's a good talent at running back, but he can't stay healthy. He can't stay out of trouble. He hasn't really proven anything.
Yeah, they should be really careful. When it comes to Jarvis Landry for the Dolphins, that's completely
that's
their offense right there.
Ever since they got rid of Jay.
Yeah, that's literally their offense right there. Le'Veon Bell, as you said, it's his second year getting it. I believe last year he did kind of prove himself why he should get his payday. And then when it comes to Lawrence, I believe he's definitely disrespected by the Cowboys because he's definitely been producing on defense.
Yeah,
The
it was
defense side of the ball.
their best
That's-
defensive player last season.
Yeah, if he doesn't get a payday, I'm pretty sure he'd be very glad.
Well,
he
he's
walked
making
anywhere.
about almost $17.2 million this year on a 1-year deal.
Yeah.
So I'd be fine with a lot less than that.
They're all making a lot of money anyway right now. And looking at Le'Veon Bell, I know there's a whole issue of he wants more, obviously.
He said he's not
Yeah.
going to play
Yeah.
for under, what was it, $14.5 million.
Yeah, exactly. He's only going to play for what he's worth, and he's 26 years old right now. And most running backs usually hit like the
Hit
prime.
that wall right around 27, 28.
Yeah.
Right. So he's got a few more years yet before that happens. And as you mentioned too, it depends if he can stay healthy or not. And it's definitely kind of a gamble for the Steelers to throw this down. But at the same time, Le'Veon is definitely one of their offensive weapons that they have, along with Antonio Brown and Juju Smith-Schuster. So definitely take a chance on it. And if things don't work out, there's going to be something that's going to need to be worked out today. And hopefully not. Or if there isn't anything worked out, then it's going to be wherever he wants to take his talents to. And I really don't see him going anywhere else, though. So
It'll be interesting to see.
very interesting to see where he's going to go and how things are going to turn out after that. So after our final commercial break, we'll be back to do a round of buy or sell.
Don't have a television? Don't worry. SBTV is available on demand at uwsp.edu/SBTV. Find your favorite shows on our website, plus links to all of our YouTube content. Stay up to date with SBTV news that includes information about campus and community happenings. And don't forget to like us on Facebook. We're SBTV-UWSP Television. SBTV. Let's make media together.
Welcome back to the show for some buy or sell. We got 4 scenarios for you guys. First one up, Ryan Braun will play over 30 games at first base this season for the Brewers. Buy or sell?
Oh, man. Sell. I'm going to sell it. I'll keep my answer short and sweet.
I buy it. It's a long season.
I'll buy it too. You got 3 outfielders out there. Going on to the next one, the Browns will draft a quarterback with the number 1 overall pick. Buy or sell?
I'm selling it for the Browns' sake. Sure hope they don't. There's only one player that should be taken number 1 overall.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure we're thinking the same person. Definitely sell that.
I'm going to sell that too. Make that 3 sells. Next one up, Le'Veon Bell will leave Pittsburgh despite the franchise tag talk.
Sell. I think he's going to wind up being a training camp holdout.
Yeah, definitely sell it. Training camp holdout. If not, they're going to get a deal done eventually.
3 sales, he'll get a lot more money after that. And finally, more closer to home, the Packers will sign Muhammad Wilkerson. Buy or sell?
Buy. 100% buy. His first visit's with them tomorrow, and I think it's going to go well.
I can buy it, but one thing is watch out for his health.
Buy. Packers need all the help they can get on defense. Well, that's all the time we have for today. Thanks to Ben and Bernard for joining me today on the show, and a big thank you to our technical staff for making all of this possible. Be sure to check us out on Facebook at SBTV UWSP Television, or follow us on Twitter at SBTV_UWSP. Also visit the UWSP homepage to locate all your Pointer athletic information. We'll see you next time on The Locker Room.